Hey folks, it's Patriot Nurse. Huge news coming out today regarding the vaccine implementation schedule, the way that vaccines are given, and the correlation with autism. So this is actually one of the reasons why I voted for President Trump this time, was because of RFK. And for those of you who have known me for a while and followed this channel, I have been a vocal skeptic of the official narrative on vaccines and of their safety and efficacy, in particular because I have seen the impacts of what happens clinically. I have seen and interacted with patients who can attribute directly the development of their children's symptoms to specific instances of vaccines that were given. And also, we know the basics and fundamentals of chemistry when it comes to acetaminophen or Tylenol, which has now been correlated as well, that Tylenol depletes the liver of glutathione, which is a very powerful intracellular antioxidant. And particularly when Tylenol is being given out in the ways that it's conventionally recommended from pediatricians for parents to go ahead and, if their kid spikes a fever after they get their MMR, after they get whatever their multivalency vaccine is, to just throw some Tylenol at it just to control that fever. It's toxic. And it is for this reason so many years ago that I took the stance that I did, because I had my spidey sense was showing me, and that cannot be negated. This is one of the things they tell you in nursing school, that if your gut's telling you something about a patient, then you need to follow it and ask more questions. And when I followed this and asked more questions, my patients overwhelmingly were telling me that their children were not well after these vaccines, that their kids had awful reactions. Children who were verbal became nonverbal, awful things. And so finally now we have some momentum, thank God, coming out of DC to get ahead of this. And I think that this is really the first step, because you're not going to really convince people who have all these letters after the name, who have direct financial benefit from getting these vaccines into the arms and legs of as many children as possible. You're not going to convince them overwhelmingly that they're wrong overnight. And even if you did convince them overwhelmingly that they're wrong, so many of them have such gutted moral centers that they really don't care. And I will take that one to the bank. There are a lot of physicians out there, a lot of pediatricians, a lot of people who hold patents on vaccines, who happen to practice at large hospitals. These people get their jollies from lining their pockets, and they have direct conflicts of interest and financial benefit. And today they got smacked in the face. And so my hope is that parents will continue asking these questions, because at the end of the day, your child is yours, not a doctor's, not a government's. And it is over these issues related to parents' choice on vaccination that so many parents have ended up butting heads full force with the medical industrial complex. One of the things I think is very important that came out of this conference today was the reminder that Tylenol is a drug, and just because it is a commonly used drug, that does not make it safe for everyone, particularly when it comes to pregnant women and young children. And so when you look at the overall implications here of this pathology that we have nursed in the white coat world, that we need to suppress fevers and suppress the body's warning signs, and that is a fix, and that's FDA clear to be called safe and effective, suppressing the body's defense mechanisms, like for instance with a fever and an infectious disease. Now they're actually coming out as of this press conference, and those of us in this world have known it for a long time, but it's good to actually hear that, yeah, actually when you give Tylenol, it can prolong the overall length and duration of viral infections and other types of infections, but specifically with viral infections. And oh, by the way, it depletes the liver of glutathione, a really powerful intracellular antioxidant, which is necessary for neutralizing the damage at the cellular level of the inflammatory processes that happen whenever you run a fever. So this is really good news. And for those of you who've been following the channel, I think that this is a really reaffirming thing that's happened, because really what it says all along is it reaffirms your gut. And your gut all along knew that these things were like something stunk, something was off, and something was atrocious when it came to these connections and how it was being suppressed for years, even on this platform, on YouTube, on Facebook, on every social media platform. I have been censored regarding this, received a lot of pushback from the medical community, and now finally we have the truth coming out in increments. But this was a big win today for health freedoms, for parents' rights, and ultimately for the right of parents to be believed when it comes to their child's health, be believed when it comes to being primary reporters to a healthcare provider of how it is that their child is doing and not being dismissed. I mean, how degrading is it that a physician who sees a kid maybe twice a year, 3 times a year, would poo-poo a parent saying, something is not right and something happened to my kid. Something changed in my kid after you gave him this last round of vaccines. Finally, we have some approbation from DC that, yeah, parents were not insane. Healthcare providers like me and like so many others who said we need to question vaccines extensively. We cannot take for granted that they're safe and effective, particularly when the people who are writing the requirements and the guidelines for who should get them stand to directly benefit financially from them. So I think this is one more positive thing for health freedom and for the rights of individuals to govern their own healthcare. And this is one of the reasons why for so many years I have taught, not only on this channel, but also in my online courses, the benefits and the methodologies of how to care for yourself and why it is that we embrace in the survival, preparedness, and just herbal vitalist world. Why do we embrace the supportive versus the suppressive methodology? Supporting the body with certain types of herbs during fevers rather than suppressing it with things like Tylenol or NSAIDs. So, friends, what we are seeing here right now, I think, is the beginning of a turn. People have lost faith in the white coat world, certainly after COVID, and they have certainly lost faith in the ability of this white coat world to tell them what is best for them and their children and to advocate for the best health practices of their children. No, who knows best? The parent. You, the parent. You know your child best. You know them better than anybody with a bunch of names and letters and certifications on the wall. No, you know your child best. And if there's anyone who is best prepared to take care of their family's needs, it is the doctor mom at home who has a few herbs in her arsenal who knows how to use them well. It is the grandmother who transfers these skills and knowledge down to the next generation. It's you out there taking your health into your own hands and owning that there's nobody here that has a better interest on my life and my family's wellness than me. So I'm going to learn how to do these things for myself. And that's one of the reasons why I've taught the courses for the years that I have. And I'm very, very thankful today for the news coming out of DC. Very grateful to the president, very grateful to Health and Human Services Secretary Kennedy, and just very, very, very glad to see some momentum on this after all these years of suppression and of gaslighting people and of telling parents that they really don't know their child. It is about damn time. So I'm grateful today. We could use some good news today. And friends, if you would like to train with me online, I've got a couple of courses you can choose from. They got a 4-hour and a 7-hour course. Both of them really dovetail together. The 4-hour course, you can dip your toe in, just start out and start learning the foundations of how to care for your family at home. If it saves you 1 trip to the doctor, it's paid for itself. If it saves you 2 trips, now you're at a profit. When you look at the herbal preparedness course, it really takes that foundation and it's going to catapult you forward into being able to use these herbs that are in nature to really support and nourish your body and really start to target a well-rounded system to help your family enjoy better health and an overall more nutrified life. So that is what I have for you today. We are fixing to start Rosh Hashanah here, so I wanted to get this video out here real quickly. I hope you guys have a wonderful and blessed week. For now, it's Patriot Nurse signing off, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.